Greetings adventurers and welcome back to Adventure Gameshow Geek. I'm Torso and you know what I really didn't need? Yet another game show to completely occupy my mind. You know what I found? Another game show to completely occupy my mind. Do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. Let's talk about Project Z, also known as Project Z. Sorry for my really bad pronunciation there, which I recently watched for the first time. By which I mean I binge-watched every available episode I could find, including the Welsh language episodes, within the space of 2 days. But anyway, I watched it, and I loved it, and now I'm going to take a pickaxe to it, in an affectionate way. Project Z, as I said, was originally a Welsh language game show created in 2018. It falls in the genre of zombie apocalypse, and follows the aftermath of a global power surge which caused some
futuristic nanotech ear gear
to malfunction, turning anyone who had it into a zombie.
Which the show calls Zeds, after the Z technology.
Anyone touched by an infected person also becomes infected. 5 surviving children have taken refuge in their local school, but this is a bad idea, as the Zeds have already broken in and they're now trapped. Luckily, the host is here to help and guide them in escaping. They need to find the school's alarm,
sound it, crack the access code,
and make it out alive. The show is very escape room based, which I love. Each episode can be broken down into somewhat of a formula. It starts with a task to get the survival kits that contain the gear they need to complete the rest of the challenges. This normally involves retrieving them from various hiding places,
while running around and trying not to get caught by a Z.
Kind of like a game of tag, actually. It pretty much is a game of tag. Anyway, there was some variation in the task found in Series 2 of the English version, but I actually didn't like that as much as the grab and run of the earlier version. Then there will be 2 escape rooms. The first is almost filler and leads them to the location of the school alarm. The second is to sound the alarm itself. Either before or in between the 2 rooms will be a corridor challenge, or a courtyard challenge, or some sort of challenge that serves as a bridge between locations, and it typically involves something like finding a way past some Zeds or unlocking the next room itself. If a survivor is touched by a Zed, at any point they are infected.
Always. The armour does nothing to protect them, no matter what the host says.
They're allowed to play on, however, but in losing condition, and when the school alarm is sound, they become a Zed properly.
Zombie makeup and all.
The final challenge is to crack the access code which unlocks the school gate.
It's like playing the board game Mastermind, but easier.
And under extreme time pressure. If they manage to crack it, the uninfected survivors escape and win, while the infected lose. If they can't do it in time, they are caught by none other than their former teammates, and all 5 lose. The format, I like it very much. I'm a sucker for escape rooms. The game is hard and more teams lose than win, and no team escapes fully intact. This is a good thing. I much prefer it when a game show is hard to when it's really easy. It also kind of reminds me of Last Commanders, but inversed. Instead of the contestants guiding the character through an escape room, the character guides the contestants. This improves on one of the weak points of Last Commanders. The commanders, who serve as the audience identification characters, are very attached from the action and the danger, with the freedom fighter and the computer screen both acting like barriers that prevent the tension from getting through to the viewers. In Project Z, the contestants are right in the thick of it, and peril is ever present. It's scary. It's actually scary. If I were a couple of years younger, I would be absolutely petrified, nightmares and everything. And even the age I am now, the very top of their target audience, it still gets to me. It's very, very well done. Let's talk about the host now. The Welsh version is hosted
by a lady scientist called Al,
who used to work for Itopia, the tech company responsible. But upon discovering that Itopia was hiding the truth, she left. What is the truth? I'll get to that later. She now uses her van to travel around Wales, hacking into school servers and helping surviving kids escape. She's very cool. The first series of the English version, broadcast in 2019, is hosted by
A lady scientist called Alice,
who used to work for Itopia, the tech company responsible. But upon discovering that Itopia was hiding the truth, she left, and yes, they are literally exactly the same. They share the same name and backstory, with the only difference being their appearance and the fact that English Alice has a wider range.
This is kind of reflected in the fact that most of her action scenes are actually fuel runs.
Of the two, I prefer Welsh Alice. I'm not sure why, I just do. Series 2 is different and possibly the only truly good thing to come out of 2020. Time has passed, things have changed, and now Alice is the leader of an entire rebellion.
Which is cleverly based on a boat so the Zeds can't reach it.
But this means she's too busy at HQ to rescue survivors.
The job is therefore taken over by a resistance fighter called Zane, who turns out to be one of the kids that Alice has rescued in a previous mission.
What happens is essentially what the reboot of Raven did. The winner of an unseen game goes on to take on the mentor's role as host. It's something I quite like at the moment, but I think it should be handled with caution because there is a risk of it becoming overused. Now, Zane is not a lady scientist, and he can't even spell his own name right. His own 4-letter name. Look at the end credits.
His name is clearly listed as Zane, Z-A-Y-N.
But in this clip from episode 5, when he calls himself, his contact name is spelled Z-A-N-E. But seriously, how do you forget your protagonist's own name? It's the very basics of continuity. Not good. Very not good. Personally, I find Zane to be the coolest of the lot. His action scenes are some of the best,
featuring cool skateboarding tricks and outwitting the Zeds.
But there are some flaws. For one, he relies on HQ far too much. It's practically a crutch for him.
Both Alices survived fine without any help at all, so including HQ kind of takes away from Zane's competence and capability a little bit.
Secondly, he doesn't have any real emotional connection to the plot. He's just a guy who's risking his life for no real reason. I mean, it might be for the sake of humanity, it might be because it's the right thing to do. But then, why is he the only one doing it? Why is he the one we care about? What's his motivation? Alice had a connection, guilt about working for Itopia, and being the only one who knew the truth. But even then, that wasn't really developed that much either. Zane has so much potential, and I want to see it. I love a conspiracy, and this show is steeped in them, the biggest being Itopia hiding the truth. Well, what is the truth? It's never explicitly mentioned, so I have to make guesses based on the little information we get from news headlines. You don't know what they know, you only know what's being told to you, you don't know what the public knows. The first thing that Itopia could be hiding is that Project Z caused the Zeds. The news does state that they don't know exactly what happened. But if the public doesn't know that Project Z caused it, then why are the infected publicly known as Zeds instead of just zombies? And then there's the possibility that Itopia caused the power surge and created the disaster on purpose. They do point blame on their rivals called Copper Communications, and they do claim that they are the only ones who can neutralize the Zed. They also claim that the Resistance is an enemy of the state and falsely accuse Alice of industrial espionage. And they're everywhere. They have control over food sources, education, the news, as well as strong ties to the government. That gives me very strong corrupt corporation feels right there. And their founder is literally called F.N. Stein, as in Frankenstein, as in the scientist who knew exactly what he was doing when he created a monster. I see you. But if that's the case, why can't they just say it? Make it explicit. Please. It's too important to be left vague. I just say, I've been watching quite a few CITV game shows recently, because CBBC needs to step up their game. But I've noticed that they are remarkably political for shows aimed at children. If you've seen Spy School Series 2, Episode 13, you'll know what I mean. I don't have a clip, and I don't really want to describe it. Just, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
Hi, voiceover torso here. I don't have a problem with describing it, so basically, a character called Goldfist does an impression of Donald Trump and cites him as a big inspiration. Goldfist just happens to be a supervillain and a terrorist. Goodbye.
In Project Z itself, there are comments about the Prime Minister playing golf in the middle of a crisis. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad by any means. It's just strange. Right, temporal disruptions approaching, but before I finish, I just want to say a massive well done to literally everyone involved. The actors who did such a great job as the Zeds, the kids themselves, whose acting was pretty on point as well. Whether as a survivor or a Zed, they kept the fourth wall thankfully intact. The game makers, the way they built the challenges into the school layouts, it's just brilliant. The visuals, they're stunning. Costume and makeup especially, and the trash schools, they look brilliant as well. The graphics, especially the contestant graphics at the end of Series 2.
These ones here.
That gives me chills. The cartoons, they're great as well, and the music. Honestly, why doesn't Don't Unleash the Beast have music like this? It's so effective in creating tension, and Don't Unleash the Beast really needed that. Just general kudos to everyone involved. The show is brilliant, and it has quickly become one of my favourites of all time. Until next time, it's only a game, isn't it?